it's exactly that. I think I saw a story yesterday of Sam Altman just saying how unprecedented the demand for their video tools were, and it doesn't seem like that's necessarily translating over to Adobe. I think we spoke yesterday about Adobe just being typically kind of a market leader in all of these creative tools, so the expectation was they would be out in front.
It's like the establishment, right, that has been doing... Anyway, go ahead.
No, I mean, it's exactly the right point, is that they are the establishment. They should be kind of out in front of this. They have plenty of money in the bank to invest in these tools, but right now we have kind of been stuck in this pattern of investors asking for AI results, and then we're still kind of not getting that from the company. So that's played out in the forecast.
They're introducing new AI features, and that includes a higher priced Firefly offering, tiered subscription plans to drive growth. So they're kind of trying to figure out, right, how to juice the top line growth. But don't you feel the last 2 years, I know I'm tapping my foot. The last 2 years we've done nothing but talk about the AI, the folks out in front and center, whether it's NVIDIA or something, right, related to AI. You have to think the whole tech community is looking at this and saying, I got to get my act together, right, and figure out, and whether it's an upstart or other companies like going after the established players.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's
I'm just
maybe
making
it's harder
a statement.
than
I'm just dumping that in your lap.
Look, I'm no tech. I can barely work my iPhone, but like I get maybe it's not as easy as we all thought. You know, like I think there's a lot of enthusiasm about the actual AI software. They're doing amazing things already. It just could be that the first people out of the gates, which was OpenAI and some of these other smaller players that might have a cheaper option, has just been able to kind of undercut Adobe for the time being.
I've seen some, and this is the stuff that gets traction on X. Is like the videos of people doing things that look real, but then you watch it and you're like, this is totally impossible. Like defying gravity skiing and doing things that are just completely not possible, or pointing out videos that, okay, it looks normal at first blush, but then it's like you look in detail at the person's hands and you're like, there's no way that's an actual person here. And like, that's the tell right now. That's part of the story. The other part of the story that I think Adobe would push back on, Red, is the idea of this stuff that's quote unquote brand safe and the training of these AI models. And Adobe has been out over the last year saying, hey, our stuff that's developed with Firefly and our other Gen AI tools will be okay for your ad campaign or your brand campaign because it was trained on images that either we own the copyright to or we have the rights to, and therefore, if you have a subscription with us, you will as well. And I wonder to what extent that's a selling point with the corporate customers.
I would think it would be, obviously trying to mitigate as much risk as possible when it comes to copyright infringement and things like that. But I think, what was it, Facebook's saying for so long in tech was move fast and break things. Maybe Adobe is kind of paying a little bit of a penalty for being so cautious. But still, this is probably going to be a long game, right? Like it's not like this isn't something that's playing out quarter to quarter. This is decades. They're investing in these technologies, right? So, Adobe's track record is pretty strong, and that kind of remains to be seen whether or not it will be able to kind of turn this around.
But not strong enough, right? That closely watched metric of new creative software business, digital media, net new annual recurring revenue. I think Alex Steele highlighted it when we were doing the simulcast, will increase 11% in the fiscal year, in line with estimates, like in line. I think people, when they're thinking AI, we want surprises. Don't just meet estimates. We want to see if there's so much demand out there and you are a market leader, like we would expect things to be stronger.
Yeah, you need to blow us out of the water every single time, which is kind of an unfair bar to set for a lot of these companies.